Hello and welcome to CATEX-TV. I'm Tom Bailey in London. It's 4:30 PM in London and 11:30 Eastern Time, and for Mr. Greg Titterton, who's watching from Bermuda, it's 12:30 in Bermuda if you want to set your watch. Today in history. Today in 1799, Edward Jenner's smallpox vaccination was first made available, and given the extraordinarily cold weather we've been experiencing in Europe and in the US, it's interesting to see that today in 1962 snow fell in San Francisco, and today in 1985 Caesar's Head in South Carolina and Mount Mitchell in North Carolina both recorded the state record for the lowest temperature. It was in South Carolina it was 28 degrees centigrade below, and in North Carolina 37 degrees centigrade below, so quite cold. And today some news. First of all, some news about CATEX. CATEX Solutions announced today that Mag Re, a reinsurance broker from Mexico, based in Mexico City, has licensed Pivot Point 2.0 reinsurance software platform to operate its startup reinsurance intermediary operation, which will include both facultative and treaty reinsurance. Mag Re recently received regulatory approval from the Mexican insurance authorities to launch its reinsurance broking operation. Frank Fortunato, the regular anchorman for CATEX-TV and co-CEO of CATEX Solutions, said that our software as a service offering has enabled Mag Re to get off to a speedy start in its new endeavour. We are pleased with how quickly we were able to configure the system and provide all the necessary training required to process all of Mag Re's reinsurance business on our platform. And Eduardo Betancourt, CEO of Mag Re, said by selecting the proven turnkey solution offered by the Pivot Point reinsurance software, we will be able to make a strong case to our regulator and to our clients. Betancourt continued, we want to be certain that the solution we selected would allow us to process all of our business online globally, yet maintain a strong local presence at the same time. Certainly with Pivot Point we're starting with the most advanced operation platform available in the market, which will allow us to focus our efforts on our clients and have a very efficient administration process. Mag Re will make full use of existing Pivot Point reinsurance functionality, including its document production, both in Spanish and English, transaction processing for complex cross-currency settlement for multiple currencies, and offsetting, invoicing both in Spanish and French, Spanish and English, fast path premium processing, allowing brokers to process hundreds of premium statements in seconds, and extranet access for trading partners, and the expansion of the retail broking capabilities and sophisticated reporting tools provided by the Mosaic reporting service, which has been developed also by CATEX Solutions. It's probably worth noting that the Pivot Point platform currently supports client operations in 20 countries, processes premium volumes of more than $4 billion annually, and settles transactions in 75 currencies, distributing invoices in 6 languages. CATEX-TV will be interviewing Mag Re's CEO Eduardo Betancourt next week, so it'd be worth watching that for an insight into the Mexican market. And now some other news. Parts of Munich Airport were briefly sealed off after a laptop set off an explosive detector, and its owner, who is still on the run, fled into a secured area. The 4th floor of the airport's Terminal 2, used for flights within Germany and Europe's passport-free Senchen area, was evacuated and all docked planes were temporarily grounded. Bertie Halbert, a spokesman for the Federal Police, cautioned that the scanner could have been set off by chemicals such as perfumes, and the man may simply have been in a hurry to catch his plane. He said it's not 100% clear that there were in fact explosives. The explosive detector was alerted by a laptop and as a result should have been checked again. But at this point the male passenger left the security area into a secured area. Searches are still taking place for this person. In the meantime, we've examined security camera footage. Airports around the world have been put on high alert since a Nigerian man was arrested and accused of trying to blow up an airliner over the US on December the 25th with explosive chemicals. Now, we always keep an eye on what's going on in the tropical storms around the world, and normally at this time of year we wouldn't expect to see much activity. However, off the northwestern coast of Australia, there is Cyclone Magda Cyclone Magda is currently predicted to make landfall, as you'll see on the map, on Australia, and it's been given a cyclone classification already with sustained winds of more than 60 knots. So we'll keep you posted as that develops. According to Reuters, Paris could become another Venice following the next flood. 100 years ago, the River Seine burst its banks and filled the elegant boulevards of Paris with torrents of muddy water, forcing thousands of inhabitants out of their house and cutting off power for months. The same could happen again, only this time consequences would be 10 times worse, according to experts. Louis Hubert, director of the Paris region at France's Ministry of Ecology and Sustainable Development, said the flood is unavoidable. What we can simply say is that we're almost certain to see new considerable floods, we just don't know when. Paris's centennial flood of 1910, a flood which has a 1 in 100 chance of occurring every year, affected 200,000 people in 2010 and cost 1.5 billion euros. That's about $2.15 billion in today's money, according to Hubert. A similar flood these days would affect around 1 million inhabitants and cost 15 billion euros. So that's 10 times the amount. It's $21 billion. On top of this, another 2 or 3 million people are likely to see their electricity cut off for several days. Hubert said that in both cases there are 10 times more people concerned, and the direct cost is 10 times more than that of 1910. It could lead to disorganization of the Paris region and have an effect on the national economy. To commemorate the 1910 flood, Paris's Galerie de Bibliothèque is exhibiting a collection of photos, postcards and witness accounts. Among them are sepia photo shots of bowler-hatted, mustachioed men travelling piggyback, trousers hoisted and knee-deep in water. There's a totally submerged Champ de Mars, as you can see in the picture that we've got, people pulling up to Notre Dame Cathedral in boats, and food being delivered by ladder to second-floor apartment windows. Now, the London insurance group Hyperion Insurance has appointed Tim Coles as chief executive of its broking arm, the Howden Broking Group. In addition, Simon Behag has become chief operating officer. Hyperion's chief executive David Howden said, Howden Broking Group was formed 2 years ago to bring together all our broking companies. We are a group of businesses with a common DNA but working independently of one another, in some cases with different names. We have worked together to unite our operations across the world, and in 2009 we began a global marketing program to align us under a single brand. He said that last year broking revenue grew by 41% despite what has been one of the most challenging markets over recent years. We are looking forward to continuing this trend with further aggressive, organic and acquisitive growth. Coles joined Howden in 2002 and has led UK retail and global wholesale operations for the past 5 years and has delivered a 51% growth last year. Behag joined from Aon Benfield International, where he was head of strategy, responsible for developing and implementing strategic operational initiatives. Prior to this, he was the head of global operations within Benfield's facultative solution teams, part of a four-man executive responsible for running a $40 million turnover business with 12 offices and staff in 100 countries. Markel has hired a marine and energy underwriter in London. The former Catlin underwriter Tom Davies joins insurer Markel. Markel International has appointed Davies as liability underwriter in its marine and energy division. Davies has 8 years experience in marine and energy insurance and has spent the last 6 years at Catlin, most recently in the liability underwriting team. He'll be working with energy and liability underwriter Chris Fenn to develop Markel's marine and energy liability accounts in London with Markel's overseas branch networks. Paul Jenks, who is the managing director of Markel's International Marine and Energy Division, said, "I'm delighted that Tom has chosen to join us and look forward to the benefits of his background and the experience that will bring." Well, that's all from us today. Just to remind you once again that next week we'll be running an interview with Eduardo Betancourt, who is the CEO of Magri. Until tomorrow, when we're back with you at the same time, thank you very much and goodbye.